Good morning. It's 9:02 on a Wednesday morning. I'm very excited. I'm going to ask you to do a huge favor. Share this video out. Let me know what you have going on today. We're going to be announcing the winners of the Top Star Marketing event. They are doing the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference. It's taking place this Friday. So you're going to want to stay tuned because we are going to be announcing that winner. Don't forget this Saturday. It's going to be the most talked about event maybe ever, at least in Galveston County. I'm excited. It's the first of its kind. It's the Talk of Taco Cook-Off taking place at KHEA Radio at Abundant Life, 601 Delaney Road. You are invited, open to the public, free to attend. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, how much does it cost? You know, where's the tickets? I keep seeing like a free option to go and register. Yeah, because it's free. You're going to be able to attend. There may be some cost if you want to partake in all of the taco festivities, but a lot of it's going to be free, family friendly, kids of all ages. There's going to be games for adults. Everybody is going to have an awesome time. I'm going to be there. Crystal's not going to be there, but that's going to be okay because we're going to have a lot more people there. I have a guest in studio. We're going to be talking about Helen Hall Library in League City. If you have been up and down Highway 3, you've seen Helen Hall Library. You know, there's a lot going on. League City is booming. There's a lot of growth taking place and a lot more that can still be built out. So we're going to be learning everything that's going on. I got London here in studio. I almost said I got London on the track. That's what came up.
Right.
What's
That
up,
would've been
man?
Perfect, right?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So can you introduce yourself and then just say the role that you play at Helen Hall?
Absolutely. So my name is London Lawrence. I'm the volunteer coordinator at Helen Hall. I've been there for about 6 to 8 months, and we've really been making an impact. So it's my job to kind of get the programs as far as volunteering up and running and just make sure it's a really fun and inviting environment.
Is that easy to do? Because, you know, getting people to volunteer, I think it depends on personality. A lot of times people are just like, for some reason, I can't say no, or I want to get back. So how is that going?
Well, thank you for that question. Yeah. Thank you, Oprah. Just joking. Well, the great thing about that is we've developed a system called the cost system. So it doesn't cost you anything but your time. But the impact is priceless, right?
Right.
So we work with content, we work with outreach, we work with systems, and we work with tutoring. So it's basically something for everybody. It's not your typical volunteer experience at a library. So that kind of deals with the different personalities because not everybody's a people person. I like to talk. I like to go out there. I'm not so good at shelving. I'm not going to tell anybody that. But it just depends on your personality type. That's kind of how I match you with an opportunity at the library.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the different things people can do?
So, okay, that's a great question as well. So one of the things that as a new implementation is we have different outreach programs. So, for example, when I first got into the position, people were very interested in helping or reading to the children. Mm-hmm. Well, we have librarians for that, right?
Right.
The cool thing is now we have the YMCA outreach, and it's done twice a week at the Perry Center YMCA located in League City. And what the volunteers do is each month they go out to the community and read to the kids. Another thing that we have is the Senior Book Buddies program, and that's geared towards our senior citizens. So with that program, once a month on the last Thursday and the last Tuesday of the month, we go out to senior citizen communities and deliver content. And the books are chosen and delivered by the volunteers. That's just a little bit touching the surface of the iceberg.
That's cool. So they're picking what they are going to be accessing and reading.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. You know, there was an event that I saw that took place at Helen Hall that had to do with Star Wars.
Right.
What was going on with that?
So that is Star Wars Reads, and it's an annual event that we put on at the library. And we kind of have the stormtroopers come out, and we learn about Star Wars, the history, and you get to see, you know, firsthand some of the stormtroopers. And who doesn't want to be or see a stormtrooper?
I would like to be a stormtrooper.
I would too, yeah.
I wonder if that's an option if you're a volunteer. Like, I'm volunteering for Star Wars Day to be a stormtrooper.
If you make your own costume. So I have nothing. That particular program, I have nothing to do with it, with the exception of it being at the library. But it's a really cool program, and I encourage people to dress up. You may find a Chewbacca out there. I don't know. Whatever your thing is, come on out.
All right. Hey, Facebook, we're going to go ahead and switch this over to the FM. If you're watching on Channel 46, thank you for taking the time to tune in. It is 9:06 on a Wednesday. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know what do you have going on today. What are you going to be getting into? So we're going to make that swap to 99.5 FM right now. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 9:07 a.m. That was Bethel, Songs You Came. That's a great song, by the way. But we are going to be talking about Helen Hall Library. I got London Lawrence here in studio. He's the volunteer coordinator at the library right there in League City.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you share a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? How did you get
Absolutely.
involved in the library?
Yeah, okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about my story. So I'm from Baytown, Texas, which is about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how fast you drive,
Yeah.
away from League City. I have my degree in communication as well as anthropology. So I've always been a people person.
Yeah.
Personal background is I come from a nonprofit world, so I kind of add that lens to the position of the volunteer coordinator at the library. So
That's cool.
the library world is kind of new to me, but I kind of bring that insight of the nonprofit world and the volunteer knowledge with me.
So to get to Baytown, you go up 146.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, yesterday I got a ticket. I got a ticket on 146.
You got a ticket?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it's a speed trap, and I love our law enforcement officers, and I think they do a great job
They do.
of pulling me over here, especially recently.
Right.
And yeah, so watch your speed. I saw
They
3
will get
officers
you.
this
You will
morning.
get got. Yes, absolutely.
I was on the way in, and they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody stays safe. So thank you for doing.
Gardy,
those
didn't you get pulled over just a week ago?
I've been okay.
So you have a history of this.
Apparently,
A recorded history, right?
yeah, I've been pulled over 3 times in the last 2 weeks, but
Wow.
not for the same thing.
So what lessons have we learned?
Clearly not enough.
Man, okay, I feel the heat in here. I thought I was driving this show.
You
Chris,
definitely.
okay, man,
We see what happens when you drive.
maybe I need to let somebody else drive. Someone else needs to drive. But thank you to the law enforcement officers that are keeping 146 safe.
Hey.
I got to where I needed to go, and yeah, if you're going to Baytown, make sure you go the speed limit.
Yeah, they will get you. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Always.
did. So the interesting thing about League City and where the library is located is that you really can't speed. If I'm talking about that.
You don't have much. Yeah.
Where are y'all located at?
Yeah, so we're located at 100 West Walker Street in League City.
And you can access that from Highway 3.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty much the only way, I guess. You could get there from 518 maybe from the
Yeah,
back.
and you can come up. It's actually 2 ways that I know because again, I'm not from League City.
Yeah.
But those 2 ways you can get to the library. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Whenever you first decided to take that role, did you know how much work it was going to be getting people to volunteer, as the volunteer coordinator?
Yes and no. So it was important for me when I came into the position just to kind of fill everything out, get familiar with League City, learn the history, learn the librarians, learn how our library is used and utilized. And kind of from that, I developed the cost system. And it's been a very, good success just by touching the different lives. We work with everybody from the kids to the adults to the teens to the senior citizens. So
Okay.
it was really interesting, yeah, just coming in with a new, fresh pair of eyes. And again, I'm not from a library background, so I kind of brought a whole new kind of perspective to the situation.
Are the people there welcoming,
They're absolutely welcoming, yes, absolutely.
even with no library background?
No, everybody, like myself, we're welcoming. Come on down and visit. It's something fun, yeah.
Yeah, are y'all generally open, on the weekends and the week? What are the hours?
Okay, so the hours, we're open Monday through Sunday, or Sunday through Monday, should I say. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the whole week we're open. The weekends we close at about 5, but during the week we're open from about 10 to 9.
Okay, so if somebody hasn't been to the library at all, they walk in, what can they expect? And I was going to ask you, if somebody hadn't been in 15 years, but you just started here not too long ago. So what can somebody expect, if they hadn't been before
So
or in a long time?
A warm and inviting environment for sure. And there's always somebody there to help with a willingness to help. So the great thing about Helen Hall Library is we're focused on the community and providing the resources to our community. So we're always helping our patrons. You're going to see me probably running around like a crazy guy because I had that that position that kind of overreaches all the different departments. But you're definitely going to find somebody that's going to help you and be knowledgeable of the books and knowledgeable of the research and the information. We have a wonderful historian librarian, Karis, and she can tell you more about League City. She keyed me into some of the cool and kind of key individual perspectives of League City. So you're going to find help.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned before we went on the air was that it has that small town feel.
Right.
But there's a lot of people here.
Right.
It's
growing, it's developing, yeah, absolutely. And I'm one of the new people in the city, so yeah.
Yeah. What's some of the history that you've learned in the short time that you've been, in League City?
Right. So about the Longhorns, I learned about the Butlers, just a sense of community as far as what League City brings to the table. Being from Baytown, I didn't know much about League City, and like I was telling you before we got on air, when I drove into League City and I'm in the town square, it reminded me of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So kind of understanding the perspective of the long and wonderful history of League City and the migrant farmers and all that different type of stuff. So it's a lot to be learned.
Yeah, there is. There is a lot. And there are organizations and the Historical Society that they still have, opportunities where you can take, young kids, and it's fun. Field trips are just fun to do as an adult to go and learn
It's
the history.
amazing. And it's good for pictures too, because we live in the selfie era, go out there and find some pictures and kind of discover the wonderful history of League City.
Yeah.
And come to our library too.
Also, because we were talking a bit about that gazebo
Yeah.
over there in that
pink.
area. They painted it pink.
Yeah.
You know, my son, I have a 6-year-old son, and at school they're doing like a week where it's like, hey, wear a ribbon, a pink shirt, socks.
Red Ribbon Week. Is it Red Ribbon Week?
Well, I guess the same thing,
Or
but like
Ribbon
pink.
Week. Yeah.
But that is with breast cancer awareness. You know, the month of October, a lot of places will do different things. I think it's a great way to spread that awareness and keep it in the forefront.
Yeah, I agree.
As well. So, all right. Right now it's 9:12. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We are going to be on till 11. Right now we're talking about Helen Hall Library. If you're watching on Facebook and you have any questions, you have any thoughts, memories on League City, on Helen Hall, or you want to know how you can get involved, how you can volunteer, feel free to comment. You can also send me a text, 346-704-1806. Let me know, when was the last time you went to Helen Hall? And I'm going to be totally honest. I don't think I've ever had the opportunity. I've had opportunity, but I've never actually visited the League City Library.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should visit the League City Library.
I'll give you a tour of the library.
Yeah. How big is it?
It's big enough, but we need a bigger space, absolutely. Because there's so many wonderful programs going on that kind of gets shadowed with how small the building is.
Yeah. And
it's very old,
How do people decide? Because, I mean, there's new books written every day, and there's a lot of books that y'all have there. So as far as like the space you have, it's not like y'all are just like, well, let's just add on another floor, right?
Yeah. I wish it was like that, and it's not. So basically, one of the most interesting things that I found about working at the library is how do we go through the books and how do you decipher what stays and what goes.
Right.
Because people have this wonderful thought that they keep the books forever, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but they do not keep the books forever.
Yeah.
That's not possible, especially with a small amount of space. But based on the circulation, you can save your favorite book by going out there and checking out a book. If a book hasn't been checked out or processed in a while, then we kind of pull it from the shelves. So I know I kind of just ruined somebody's dream somewhere on the Facebook world.
There's a lot of authors out there that are like, I got to go check out my book.
Check out the book and save the book. I saved a book on Jaja Gabor.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's random, right? But
yeah. So since you have been at the library, have you been, using it, like checking out books more?
I use it and I understand the process, and I respect the process so much more by working there and, coming in and using my library card and checking out books. I'm big on Hollywood history, so I'm always checking out a biography. Diane Carroll, who just passed recently, I'm reading her book now. So, yeah, I use it as a resource and a tool, and I definitely encourage people to go out there and discover or rediscover the library. It can mean so many different things to so many different generations. Just go out there and open a book.
Yeah. What do y'all have that isn't necessarily books? Y'all have other stuff y'all offer too?
Absolutely. So we have wonderful programs. I'm actually wearing a pin from one of the programs that we have from the teen program. It's called the Teen Book Box Program. And the cool thing about that is it's with the teen librarian, and what she basically does is every month, and I just did a video on this on Facebook, every month she picks a book or selects the books for the teens when they fill out a questionnaire, and they get this really cool box with a hand-selected book for them, and then also like some Twizzlers, some candy, some different treats and snacks. That's one program that we have. Another thing that we have is on October the 7th. These are all plugs, by the way. On October the 17th, we're having the Alexa 101 class. So understanding, and utilizing voice technology and how it's being interpreted and misinterpreted. Because a lot of people think, hey, Alexa, turn on the music. What's being recorded and what's not. So we're having Daryl, who's a 3-time skill developer, come out and kind of talk to the community about what Alexa is or what and how you can utilize the voice technology. So programming. It's like burger and a fry.
Okay, cool. I've seen some people that, they get concerned, like, well, is it monitoring me? And so to have an expert come out, that would be like, okay, so here's the deal. It's technology. Because, I mean, you can choose to utilize technology or not, but I feel like it's a great tool if you use it for good stuff.
You can use it as a reminder. I mean, the capabilities of technology in the world that we live in now, it's amazing, and you have to understand it, and you have to kind of fathom how much technology is integrated in our everyday lives. And so I think that's another great thing about the library too, is that we're focused on bridging all the gaps. And if you don't know something, we offer computer classes once a month, twice a month, all these different opportunities. It's free programming open to the public, and all you have to do is take that initial step to get in the car, come down to the library, meet somebody, and we'll help you get where you need to go.
Okay. So, London, we were talking about you growing up in Baytown. You have a background that comes from nonprofit work, and now you are working with volunteers and recruiting volunteers. Right. Did you always want to be in a role like this? Growing up, what did you want to be, and how did you end up?
So for me, I went to school with the thought process of I wanted to do PR, public relations. I love talking. I love being present. I love communicating. Never had a problem with speeches. That was all easy.
Was that like high school age?
That was high school, early college, yeah.
Okay.
So from that path, I took a writing class, and I'm good at writing, but I couldn't see myself preparing and writing press releases all the time.
Right.
And I'm a creative, so I like creating the processes. I liked developing programming, and I kind of geared towards that or steered towards that. So for me, it was a understanding of like what my passion was, because I believe every person on this earth has a passion and a purpose, and you have to identify it and then live in that. So for me, I like that aspect of community. That was something that was big within PR. But then I converted that when I had my nonprofit experience to like, okay, I really can do this. And I liked program development. So being big on development and then understanding myself as an individual, as far as having I always say that I'm a leader with a servant spirit. So with that, I kind of converted that to volunteer work. I converted that into, developing programs. So it's a realization within myself.
Yeah. Can you explain exactly what does PR entail?
So PR is basically public relations. So basically you are the voice to the public perception of a brand. So I always thought I wanted to work for Nike or Beyonce, somebody, any kind of celebrity, and kind of represent their brand, right? So that was my big vision. And I actually had the discovery of what I wanted to do as far as, backstory. Growing up, I was always told that I talked a lot, right? So my mouth got me in trouble.
Like in school by your parents, or just like everybody be like,
by everybody.
You're talking too much.
Yeah, I'm talking too much, right?
Right.
So I had to ponder that for a long time, and it didn't make sense to me because I was a people person. I was very ambitious, and I was like, man. So one day I was sitting in my grandmother's living room, and there was a show called I Want to Work for Diddy. And this is the true story, folks. And I'm watching this show, and there's this guy, and he dresses really nice, and he talks really well. And I'm like, I wonder what he does. And then guess what? My prayers were answered. At the bottom of the screen, it showed like he had a degree in public relations or PR. So I got on the computer and I Googled it. Then I took a career altitude test, and everything led me to the world of communication. And then here I am today.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a full circle moment, right?
Yeah. No, that is really cool. Whenever there are things that you're told, like when you're young and you see it, and it's just like that, like, hey, maybe you talk too much, or like you're making people laugh, or you're being a pretty much like a leader of kind, or like kids are following you. Those are all things you can take, and one day you kind of have that aha moment. Like,
you have to be aware,
natural.
Be aware of yourself, and then even the things that people may not understand about you, use those uniquenesses to impact the world. And I think that's what I do again at the library. Is I created programs that I care about. I created programs that I know that other people can get something from, and then also can contribute to our bigger community. And so, again, with that knowledge that I learned, being there for that 6 to 7 months, I was real big on understanding how a library works, because again, I don't come from a library background. So yes, I can deal with programming, yes, I can deal with volunteers, but understanding what it takes to run a library. I mean, these librarians, they have master's degrees, they have wonderful lives, they have access to information, they know how to use all these resources, and these are things that I was a patron. So I was the patron. I always tell my volunteers, when I used to go to the library, if a book was out of place, I just stick it back anywhere. You don't do that. There's a Dewey Decimal, people.
There's a spot. Yeah, just
blop it in there. But I learned, there's a process to it, and I'm appreciative to every single person that works at a library, because it's such a process. From the time that the book comes in, the whole life story of a book, the whole process of how we promote the programs, how we use all these things to impact the community just by being a library. You're a central hub for knowledge. We offer English as a second language classes. Like, the things that you learn at the library, they provide so much, and not just in terms of knowledge, but also in terms of content, in terms of connecting and networking. And I met people from all over the world by working at the library. And it's just a passion of mine, and to see it flourish and to be able to impact so many people. When I got there, I think we had maybe 10 volunteers. We have over 50 now.
That's awesome.
And you put that in terms of volunteer hours. We hit over 300 hours every month with volunteers. And that's people giving their time for free and making an impact within the community and the library.
Do you have a goal about how many volunteers that you need, and to be able to do everything?
When I first started, I was like, if we can get 100 hours, I'm good. So we've hit that 3 times over. And it's just because of League City's willingness to work with me, and the library. And shout out to Darla and Jenny and all the people at the library. Their willingness to make an impact with me and to impact the library and League City. So the goal has just been, for me now with the program, is just to kind of refine the programs and kind of make as much as an impact as we can within the community.
Okay. All right.
So it's a lot of words. It's a lot of words.
Yeah. It's, there's a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of good stuff that can be done as well. So if somebody has a willingness, they can be plugged in somewhere.
Right, absolutely. There's something for everybody. And like I said earlier, with the cost system, it's developed to be there for everybody. It's developed for that person that wants to write the book review. It's developed for that person that wants to be a tutor with the tutoring system. We have the systems group if you're not a people person, but you just want to come and show books. We have that. We have outreach if you're like, you want to be at the forefront like myself and kind of meet the patrons that you're impacting. So there is no such thing as there's not an opportunity for you. And
Yeah.
I pride myself on that. Yeah.
You know, earlier you mentioned, the librarians, they all have master's degree. That's like one of the requirements. You have to have a master's
Yeah.
degree in being a
Yeah, library
librarian.
sciences. And people I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that till last year when I talked to a librarian. It's like, oh, I went to UT. I was like, oh, what'd you go to school for? To be a librarian. It's like, no, what's your degree in?
Yeah.
To be a librarian. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
And
I
they're
didn't
some
know.
of the most interesting people, like the stories and the perspective, and they're so knowledgeable. And sometimes I'm like, I have to go. We have a conversation. I go back to my office and I research it, and then I come back with new ideas because they know so much and they're so willing to give and share the information. So.
Yeah, the people that work there, we talked about it earlier, how they kind of welcome you in.
Right.
But is it a family atmosphere there? Is it more of a, hey, let's teamwork deal? Like how does it feel when you walk in?
It's definitely a family aspect of it. Just in the sense that we all kind of have our own department. So each department is divided. Those are your kids, so to speak, within that department. So for children's, we have Lisa, who is the children's librarian, and she has librarians under her. So it's definitely a family aspect because we touch so many ages. You have to think about it. We're working with little bitties all the way to the senior citizens. So it's definitely a family cohesion going on at the library. And again, if you don't understand something, we're always there willing to help. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we were touching on this as well, like the growth of League City, the growth of our area, and the people that, will access. Anybody can access it, right? You just need a card.
Right. That's true.
Do y'all need more space?
We definitely need more space. And the reason why is I kind of mentioned earlier that burger and fry combo, kind of combining that book with the program. So right now we have 1 billion different programs, and you can actually check that out in the fall brochure. You can go to www.leaguecitylibrary.org and check out our programs. But because we have so much programs, we have so many things going on, we need more space. And that's just the reality of the world. We need more computers. We need more study rooms. We want to be able to provide the best possible service to our patrons by utilizing as much space as possible.
Yeah. Do you think it would be something like what Texas City Library did, where we got to renovate and utilize the space we have, or add on, or a second location?
So, okay, I don't know how much I can say on this. So this is VIP information.
It's just me and you, man.
It's
me.
they're working on it. That's all I can say. They are
Okay.
working on it, and we have our fingers crossed. And great things are coming in the future.
That's cool.
For the library in League City. I feel like that's a politically correct answer.
Yeah, that's fine.
Isn't
That's
that
fine.
good? That's a good answer.
It's always good to explore every option.
Right.
And then look at the cost, look at who's utilizing it. One thing I talked about with Texas City is how the census is about to be done next year.
Right.
And all of those numbers come into account whenever you're looking at budgets.
Absolutely, they do.
Who's utilizing this, and then, hey, League City has grown. Everybody knows that, but we'll actually be able to get a better idea of how much it's grown.
Right.
So we need more, maybe a second library, an add-on, more programs,
we
more
definitely
funding.
need more space so we can do more programs and make a bigger impact. And I do feel like spacing is the issue, even with parking. That's something that we've kind of seen tried and true.
Yeah.
But again, we are working with League City, and League City is working with us, and we're going to try to get a bigger space. And we're going to stay tuned to it, and we're going to keep our thoughts high. Yeah.
All right. Right now it's 9:25. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know. Have you been to Helen Hall? Have you been to Helen Hall Library in League City? Have you been lately? We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on Facebook and on Channel 46. Thank you for taking the time to tune us Wednesday morning. Feels nice outside. Hey, I'm excited. The taco cook-off is on Saturday. I'm going to say this right before we take this break.
I saw that.
But the weather looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Actually, the official I-45 Now weather report, which I think is amazing, says Saturday's looking comfortable, and I'm comfortable with that report as well.
I second that motion.
All right. Keeping it going. Let's see. Yeah, it's 9:26. What's up, Brian? What's up, Kelly? Desiree said, nice guess. I love the way that he puts himself. Desiree is awesome. She has a spa over in League City. I need to go visit. And then one of our friends works there too.
I may have to go with you on that. I like a good spa.
Yeah. So my wife, she's pregnant right now, so she can't get some of the stuff. Like there's certain stuff that you can't get done when you are pregnant. But we've gone a lot and do fun videos on Facebook Live.
You make wonderful videos, by the way. I'm a fan of the videos.
Thanks.
Yeah, I see them and share them sometimes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to go and explore new businesses and stuff that I had never even thought of. But it's like, hey, let me get Botox.
Yeah. Oh, well, all right.
Hey, let me get skin reviewed. I don't know, all this stuff. I'm like, whatever.
Skincare.
Desiree.
Rocks. You have to have good skincare. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I got married. That's important.
Yeah, it definitely is important.
I just used a bar of soap.
Yeah, and that's it.
And then my wife, she would have something right there, and I'd just start using it, and she's like, "That's so did you use all this? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I used the whole
Just bar
thing.
soap. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, that's like $60. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it gets up
And
there.
I guess, yeah, it makes a difference. Cool. So we are talking to London. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to say what you got going on today.
Yes.
You know, so growing up, you mentioned, hey, I want to be in PR, and that's kind of like, I guess, like early college and high school, kind of figuring out. But even before that, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be bigger than Oprah Winfrey. That was always the goal.
That was the goal,
and I'm
huh?
still working towards it, yes.
Okay.
And not in terms of money, but just in terms of impact. I think she's very well spoken. I think that her humanitarianism is amazing, and she just carries, it's something about her that makes people say, aha.
Yes.
And I like that. And I thought that's a great work ethic, and that's also a great way to be considered. Money aside. The money doesn't hurt, though, but more
a billionaire,
so. Yeah. For the impact. So that was always my goal. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew it was something with talking because, again, I talked a lot. And then I knew it was something with impact.
Okay. Yeah, she has her own TV network,
yeah.
the magazines,
She's a lifestyle
books.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah, she's created something out of her
legacy.
name, out of herself. Yeah.
Legacy, yeah. And
Legacy.
I think it's important to have a legacy in any job that you do, especially working at the library and impacting the community. It's like, what am I leaving for the legacy? So even if I'm not in this job forever, what do I pass on to the next person that comes behind me, right? So even with volunteering, it's another thing about giving back. And there's a selfless element to volunteering that makes such a difference. And that's how I think about everything. Just what am I leaving behind?
Hey, Desiree, she just said, hey, tell your guests we could do a free facial for him.
I will be there, Desiree. I will get your information.
So, yeah, whenever you have an opportunity
excited.
later, you can go back and be like, hey, it's me.
I'm going to be, Desiree, I'm going to write you. Thank you for that. Super
All right.
excited.
Cool. Yeah, it's Brazil in Drops, and they're located at Leak City, 2094. It kind of, you can either go like South Shore to 2094, take a left, and they are in that strip over right by Pomodoros.
Okay. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that happen.
Good people, and yeah, they've done a lot of stuff. This is why I look this way, and it could look a lot worse. Trust me. So y'all are welcome. Thank
This
you,
is
Desiree.
hilarious.
You should be thanking her.
out
A
to
lot
her.
of work went into this. So, oh man. So that's pretty cool. You know, having people like role models to look up to. And I feel like Oprah is a great. Like you mentioned, humanitarian. She's done a ton.
She's well-rounded, too. And I think that she's well-read. She's well-rounded. She understands the concept of going out there and really making it happen. And just being conscious. And we have to be conscious in the world that we live in.
I wonder if we have somebody who's considered like the Oprah of Leak City. Somebody who gives back. I know they have like these community like volunteer awards and like all this
Right.
stuff. It'd be really interesting to see.
I agree. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah,
And I'll provide you with an update.
Okay.
I'm going to look into that.
Because a lot of times you look at the grand scale, and that's a huge goal, and it's like, man, she does so much. But you can get started on any level. You know, like even getting started at a school or like getting started volunteering at the library.
And you don't know, the connections that you make through volunteering are so cool, too, because you don't know where you're going to end up. You can end up volunteering at the library, go to like the Helen Hall Library Volunteer Bazaar, meet somebody from the animal shelter, and you have a passion for animals, and so you're going to school to become something with an animal. Like the connections that you can make through volunteering are just wonderful. And it's also giving you an opportunity. We have a lot of people that come through Helen Hall Library going to school for their master's degree in librarianship. And because we take them under our wing, they're able to get that experience and then also volunteer and then also go to school. So
Cool.
yeah, it's a big domino effect.
So y'all had that bazaar not too long ago, right?
Yeah, we had it in August.
Do y'all have it? Is that a once a year thing?
So it's about to be a once-a-year thing, yeah. So that was one of my big projects. When I came on, I had all these crazy ideas, and that was one of the bigger ideas. How that actually started is we have something called Volunteer Service Night, and it's on the first and the third Wednesday of each month. And basically, it's a mixture between teens and adults, and we kind of brainstorm. So every section or every segment, I try to divide it up, and we come up with different ideas and different things that we want to kind of take on. So that actually started off as a carnival. And so I was like, carnival is cool, but I feel like Bazaar has that League City feel to it because
Yes,
it's such a family incumbent environment. So we developed it. I worked with teens. I worked with adults. And it started in April and it went all the way to August. But we had over 300 participants. And it was just a great event. And we had so many different organizations, about 22 organizations. You guys were there. So it was just an impactful and great environment. Yeah.
You have a lot of ideas that you've been able to implement and see what I'll call like a lot of success in not a long period of time. Do you have anything else that you've been working on that maybe you're allowed to share for upcoming either events or ideas, new things you'll implement?
Yes. So I'll tell you guys about 2 events coming up, and then I'll also say what's in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing is I'm big into murder mysteries. Who doesn't like murder mystery, right? Who doesn't like scandal?
Right.
So on October the 25th, we're going to have the Teen Late Night Murder Mystery, and that's going to be at the Helen Hall Library. It was written by one of our teenagers, Franklin Carlson.
Really?
Yeah,
So they wrote this?
Yes, he
That's
wrote it,
awesome.
and he's helping me direct it. And he's a character. He's a hoot. So he wrote that, and then on the 26th, we're doing the adult version. It's going to be 18 and up, which sounds even more scandalous. And it's going to be from an adult perspective. And those programs were developed, again, by volunteers, and I just helped them kind of go on about their way and kind of develop it into this full-scale thing. In the future, definitely in April, we're going to have Volunteer Appreciation Celebration, and that's also going to be something new that we're doing. This will be our 2nd year that we're doing it. But I'm big on creating annual events that create big buzzes. And the reason for it is because it's an annual event, but I want to pull more people each time. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is just keeping consistent and doing things that I know the community has a need for, and then something that we can fill with volunteers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what is, whenever you've worked in nonprofit work and stuff in the back, is that in the past, is that stuff that you had done, like set those like annual events, like let's redo this again and again?
And it helped me. I mean, from my perspective, planning, implementation, a lot of people struggle with that initial thought of how do I make this dream a reality? I've never been that person because I understand that there are steps to get you where you're going. You can't rush it. You have to look at the smaller scale and then go to the larger scale. So that's kind of how I think about the program. And you have to do research. Research is so key, and it's so important, because I couldn't have come up with all these programs without knowing what the need in that community was, or how do we go about filling these hours. If somebody comes in and and we're also working on inclusion programming, which is something that is needed. We don't have that enough, and we're working on it. There's a volunteer named Kate Sanger, and I'm meeting with her this week. So it's all about making sure that everybody gets the resources that they need. But for me, my process, it just starts at what I'm passionate about, what the community needs, and then sitting down with each department and talking to them and saying, hey, we have children's. How do we bridge out beyond our borders? So, yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned something about an ESL class, which that's English as a second language.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a lot of people that participate? Does League City have a large population?
Yeah. So there are a lot of people. I think the average class, which is about 10 on average, but they're from all over the world, and it's constantly growing and changing, and that's taught by Darla Reese. Mm-hmm.
Is that free?
It's free. Yes, it's free. And so what she does practice. We're big on teaching the conversation in itself, so having those conversations, doing games, and not having it being that traditional kind of boring environment. Everything at Helen Hall Library is fun, it's exciting, and it's free. So, yeah.
Okay. One thing I've been trying to work out with Texas City is that they don't allow you to bring in just straight up food.
Yes, you can bring food.
You can? Is there a section if you're going to eat over there?
There's not a section for it. This isn't your mom's typical library, right? So
Yeah.
It's something kind of new, something kind of foreign. And people, the old school library folks, I like to call them, they kind of get a little hesitant with food, but we do allow food, yeah.
Okay.
You just want to be cautious and respectful with the food. I will say that, especially with drinks. You don't want to bring a 32-gallon of water and then you waste the water on the computers, and that's a whole big issue. So you just want to be mindful of what you eat or what you drink in the computers.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the computers, because y'all have access. If I needed to go print something or use a computer, write a paper, access the internet, y'all offer all that.
Yes, and so the great thing about that is we also offer computer classes as well. So there's something for everybody with those computers. We have 12 computers that are specifically for the lab, and those are teaching computers. So the whole primary purpose of those computers is to show people how to access Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, all these programs that you kind of hear about, and sometimes you're like, I need a little more help. Like me personally, Excel is not my friend. I use it for databases, and then I'm off of it. But then also with the library, we do have online databases. So what exactly is a database and how can it be utilized? If you're writing that research paper and you need to find a reference, you can use the databases and pull articles. You can pull peer-reviewed articles. You can also search the library database and find books and different content around the library. So utilize those databases too. They're paid for, and they're a great resource and tool. Okay,
so you mentioned something earlier about how if you need help, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
So I remember being in school and references and APA, MLA, Chicago, all these different formats. It just depends, I guess what area you go in, right?
Yeah.
And I would always I thought I did it right. I'd even use these programs. It's we'll plug this in and we'll do it and we'll pop it out. It was never right.
Mm-hmm.
Until one day I got it right. It's okay, fine. And
then it changed your life because you were I'm going to take this format and I'm going to apply it 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, I just print this out and hold it there and I'm looking at it back and forth.
Right.
If I need help, making sure I'm in the right format, is there somebody there at the library who can help you?
Yes. And everybody is quite knowledgeable. You'd be surprised at things that we went through. We do everything from helping people post pictures on Facebook, all the way to helping them file divorce. So it's a while, which, you know.
Full service.
Yeah. Great service. Great service. Something for everybody.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Sometimes I'll be in situations like, oh, I don't want to ask for help, you know?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Everybody's there to help you. It's a library, so we are trying to provide information. And so my thing is, when I come over there to help you, and you will see me occasionally at that front desk when I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. You will see me at that front desk. And when I go over there, I make it a point not to do it for you, but to show you how it's done so that even if I'm not there, you feel comfortable enough to do it for yourself.
Okay, here's the other thing I'm very curious of.
Okay.
So you'll see these videos that like YouTubers and Instagram comedians, and sometimes they're funny, but a lot of the times they take place in the library. Like somebody takes out a typewriter and then everybody's looking around like, oh, maybe usually on college campuses. Have y'all ever had a situation where someone's trying to make a video or a comedy skit inside of your location?
Yes, and that's the city. We haven't had an actual patron try, but now that you mentioned that, when I go back to the library, I may create like my own little scenario. I think that's a good marketing tool, don't you?
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think we're going to take that idea from you.
You can have it.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas for me? Because I feel like you have a ton of good ideas that you've done.
Hopefully I can come back. I want to come back. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
I may have some ideas. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
All right. I'm excited. I'm always open to new ideas because you can always do something better. I don't know. And just
everybody can
take something and,
and being open to suggestion is always a key.
That's why we have Crystal here. She doesn't speak much, but when she does, you know it's going to be gold.
It's powerful.
Do you have anything powerful to say to share?
I don't have anything powerful to say, but I do have a question.
Okay.
So I live in League City, and I would love to get a library card.
Okay.
But I just moved back from North Carolina, and my driver's license is a North Carolina driver's license. So I haven't changed it over yet. Would I still be able to get a library card?
So I believe, and Cirque, don't kill me, I believe that you should be able to, as long as you have a bill or something with your address on it. So as long as you have your League City information, you should be able to get one. And the fun thing about it is you don't have to be a League City resident to get a library card.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's open to
open to anybody. So you don't have to live in League City to get the library card.
Except not North Carolina. You have to be like
you may be the first one, but you never know. So yeah, go check it out, definitely, and get you a library card. And if you have any questions or concerns, definitely call the Helen Hall Library.
What do they look like? Do you have one on you?
Okay, so you're putting me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
Let's hope that I have one on me for promotional purposes.
I just remember being a kid, and it was like manila, and it had that little metal piece on it.
Let's see if I have.
Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I could draw it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you rember?
I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Okay.
I don't want to leave you on this boat.
I'm old. I'm old. So like a library card, kids. It used to be like the size of a credit card.
So this is the size of this is the actual card if you want to see that.
Yeah.
So
Helen Hall.
That's my Helen Hall library card. On the front, it has a wonderful picture of the Helen Hall Library. You can see that. And then on the back, I have my signature and my library card number.
So they used to be paper, but like
we've upgraded
a manila paper, and it used to have a little metal like thing right there, almost like a chip. Like it looked like the chips now that you have, kind of. And they would slide it into the card and like and slam. And I guess it had like a little thing, and you'd have to write your name.
It was a whole process.
There was a whole. Now it's a lot easier.
Scan and go now.
You can
Just
scan the back.
And go. Yeah, you sign your name and you put your name on there, and you go check out your favorite book or DVD.
Okay,
and
so
the limit is like 99 items you can check out.
One thing I noticed, and this is a big deal, it's the signature of responsible party. What? Okay, so let's say I do lose a book. Let's say I mess up something. What kind of, how, on accident? Like, what kind of liabilities am I signing away
I'm
here?
the fine guy now. So basically what this says is that you're responsible for any content that you check out with the library. So mind you, a library is not just for books. We also have DVDs. We also have computers that you can check out when you're at the library. So basically what that means is you're taking responsibility or ownership for whatever content that you check out. Okay, so with the fines do range after they have a cutoff point though. They do, and I want to say that we're working on a fine forgiveness program too. So that's
I like that. You can volunteer.
Everybody likes that, right? Yeah.
Like volunteer hours, or
I don't know if it'll be volunteer hours, but it'll be. I don't want to make any promises, but it definitely is something in the works for that. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So
like don't be scared to sign up for a library card. It's free. You don't have to live in League City, and it's always good. You know who has an amazing library too? Austin. They have the most amazing. It's like state of the art. It's a beautiful facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been. Whenever you say that, like, what is it that stands out about it?
They have okay. So number one, it's huge. They have a botanical garden there. They host events there. They have a restaurant inside the library. And I want to say every month they change the items, and they're all book-related items.
So there's a restaurant. See?
Wait, so you mean like you can order
you can order food
while you're reading a book?
While you're reading a book. And you can go to the technology stand and kind of play with like all the technology. They have a tech bar. It's just amazing. But what I will say, the bad part about it, the first hour, me and the teen librarian went to TLA, but which is the Texas Library Association Conference. The first hour is free. After that's like $5 per hour. But it's I know. So it adds up, but it's an amazing facility.
Wait, to be in there?
To be in there.
At
For
all?
parking. Because parking often is horrible. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. You can take an Uber, though.
Yeah, you can. Check it out. It's an amazing library.
Man, that's pretty cool. See, I've been pitching that idea to, especially with the renovations going on in Texas City. I was like, guys, trust me, we need to get like a straight up like restaurant diner, like a little bar right there.
I don't know. Maybe you could add it to the library. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I want to like a Waffle House inside Helen Hall.
I like a Waffle House.
That's like a dream come true.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of an IHOP guy.
Okay, you know what?
We'll say IHOP for the sake of the conversation. We'll say IHOP.
Okay, IHOP. I can get down with that. I
Okay.
usually get the like the omelet. They got the there's I can't think of it. It's like a steak omelet. Maybe it's the big steak omelet. That's what it's called. Somebody said like your menus, and I was like, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I do.
I get the Grand Slam.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Classic and always worth it.
So I've got another question.
Okay.
So I love to read. Books are amazing, but I don't exactly have a lot of time to read.
Okay.
So audiobooks are a lot more accessible to me because I can listen to them while I'm driving to work or while I'm cleaning the house or, well, if I had a house. But anyway, it's like...
Your home.
Yeah, my home. So do y'all have
the streets?
The streets. Yeah, whatever. My face, hopefully not with bar soap.
Good reference.
But do you have a good repertoire of audiobooks at the library?
So we do have a lot of audiobooks, and I like taking an audiobook with me when I'm traveling because I like to travel a lot. So it's good to, I don't necessarily like to drive all the time, but if you can, if you're going on a road trip, you can slide the DVD in and listen to it. So yeah, and there's also something called Overdrive where we have like online accessible audiobooks. So you don't necessarily have to physically come to the library to get an audiobook. So yeah, that's an option as well.
How do you access it?
So Overdrive, I want to say you use your library login information, and it's able to pull it up. You download the app, and then you have access to it.
All right. Can you access books as well? Like if you wanted to read on a device or?
Yes, sir, you can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wait till this song's over, and we're going to swap it back onto the FM and remind everybody about the upcoming events, how they can take advantage of all the stuff you guys got going on.
Cool.
Here we go. Let's go do it. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 9:45 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. We are talking to London. London is with the Helen Hall Library. London, can you let everybody know what your role is at the library and how they can get involved?
Absolutely. So I'm the volunteer coordinator at Helen Hall Library located in League City. How you can get involved is check out our website, helenhalllibrary.org or www.leaguecitylibrary.org. We also, if you want to go into there and meet me personally, because I am there, that's where I spend the majority of my time in my life. You can go in and pick up a volunteer application for teens and adults, depending on if you're a teen or an adult.
Okay. It's funny you say that. As you get I remember being a kid, it's like, oh, my house. I want my house to be this. And it's just like, I'm never home.
Work is my house.
Yeah, work becomes you spend more time there.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And I spend a lot of time there. And the reason be it is because I have a lot of volunteers. So I have a lot of kids, quote unquote, in my house, which is the library. We have over 50 volunteers, teens and adults. And I'm always developing programming and working with the volunteers. So I'm there quite a lot.
Yeah. And in the summer, we talked about this, I think before on the FM, but is that like the busiest time of the year?
Peak season. So that's our holiday season. So there's a lot of programs going on for teens, adults, kids, constantly busy, constantly going crazy.
Yeah. What kind of things did y'all get through in the summer?
So we had teen late night. We have some programs like Game On, which is another teen program that goes on. We have the book clubs, which, let me tell you about this. We have a new book club. It's called the Great Book Club, and it's held on the, I want to say, second Tuesday of each month. And basically we study literary classics and literary authors that are classics. So we just talked about last night, To Kill a Mockingbird. But that's something new. We also kicked off our scholastic tutoring sessions in the summer.
All right. Are there any misconceptions that people have about the library? Like, you think of the library. What are the misconceptions that you see?
You have to be quiet. You don't have to be quiet at a library. It's not just books. I mean, there's so many things, especially moving towards this new age. The place of a library is changing. So there is implementation of programming. With volunteering, I always tell my volunteers, I don't pay you. This is not a commitment like that, meaning if you can't make it, it's okay. What I do with the volunteer schedules, and this is something that's really cool, is every month I give myself 2 to 3 days and I customize the volunteer calendar. And what that means is based on your availability that you provide to us, we match you with an opportunity in the time slot. If you cannot make it, it's okay. As long as an hour before the shift you send me an email, it's fine. So you don't have to be scared or peer pressured into volunteering. If you don't like something, we can also switch it around, which is where that cost system comes into play. So the biggest misconceptions for me with a library would be it's just for books. It's outdated. It's lame. There's nothing going on. There's something for everybody, from the gamers to the writers to the tech people. I just bought a green screen program that the volunteers are working with, and we're creating all kind of cool promotional videos. So it's about going forward and engaging technology within the space of the library.
So y'all have a green screen there?
Green screen.
Okay.
And I have a program that the volunteers use to create promotional videos.
Okay, so are these like backgrounds that they have in doing video production, or are they like learning as well?
So they're learning the process of how to cut down a video, what makes great content, because again, you have to realize that's kind of my background with communication, understanding what works and what doesn't. And I'm big on that, especially I want people to volunteer and get something out of it. I think that's very important. Not just that you're giving, but you're also receiving something to some extent. So receiving some kind of formalized education, so to speak, in video editing, or, how do you develop an event? I want you to take something more from the program.
Now that you work at the library and as the volunteer coordinator at Helen Hall, do you find that you have more time to read or less time to read, or different ways to access books?
So I get to cheat on this. Less and more. The great thing about it is I work at a library, so I have access to all kind of books, all kind of information, and I'm constantly on the go with that. The bad side is I start something and I can't always finish it because we have so much going on, and that's a great problem to have. I would not change that for the world, because, it's better to be booked than to be overlooked, and I'm very booked with everything, and I work at a library, a little play on words. But I try to read. I cheated on the book club last night, and I spark noted.
Hey.
Which I hadn't done since high school, people.
I wanted to bring up SparkNotes because that was like my best friend in school.
Yeah. It's an amazing tool if you have not discovered it. I read half the book and I had to SparkNote the rest. So some of the questions I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But, the cool thing about the Great Books Club, which I host with Elaine, who's one of our wonderful volunteers, is that we have discussions. We have real world discussions. And it's funny to me that I read To Kill a Mockingbird in maybe high school or maybe in junior high, right? So for me, rereading that as an adult with so much more knowledge and experience, I got a whole different concept out of the book. And we just talked about like some of the misconceptions we had in the book and how Harper Lee only wrote that one book, which is like literary knowledge. I'm like, what? It's like golden.
One book,
It's one book, but it's lasted the test of time. And how does a book do that? And then how do we reinvent that book to where it's a movie or how it's an audio file? Like, what's the progression of the book? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, I always struggled, like, okay, here's Wuthering Heights, read the book. And so I'm reading it. And then the next day they're asking questions like, how did y'all get that? I'm like having the story. Yeah. So like using the SparkNotes was a great tool.
Is one key collectible.
Yeah. It's like somebody wrote this 100 years. So yeah, of course y'all are going to find all this stuff. Y'all are digging too deep. It's just a story.
But you know what? I'll tell you this. Shakespeare, you think about Shakespeare, how many stories, everything on this world has already been done. So to speak, storytelling. Think about how many stories come from Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet,
The Lion King.
All these things are Shakespearean references. And when you connect the general theme of what's going on and how is it connected, go back to Shakespeare and you'll find it. Lifetime loves Shakespeare.
And then people even say that Shakespeare got his from, I don't know, just like maybe some of the tales like told, not even written down yet, just like passed down. And it's like, I'm going to put words to this.
Yeah. And the history behind stuff too. I think it's interesting for me when I read a good book to go back and kind of research the author and kind of how they were influenced by their family or the environment that they lived in or just their social experiences, because how they interpret things is kind of how they wrote it and how they developed the character. So it's all interesting to see how everything comes together.
Yeah. Crystal.
Yes.
You mentioned like having time to read. I feel like I'm the same. And so I'll do like audiobooks. Mainly I like to listen to, I guess what's classified as like motivational.
I love yes.
Because it gets you fired up for the day.
They do, and it's something about it, like the knowledge. Some people think it's very cheesy, but there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. Have you guys read?
Oh, I love that book.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Right? And it's a self-help book, but it teaches you about receiving love and giving love and how you interpret love. And it's such a wonderful book, and it helped one of my family members kind of understand their dynamic within the family. So yeah, I'm for those kind of books too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you read, Crystal, if you had an opportunity? Like if you had all the time, pick some
So
up.
I like self-help books because I studied social work in school. So
okay.
I really like anything that comes from like a psychological lens
Right.
or helps me understand myself or the world better. But I also love the literary classics. So like when you were talking about Shakespeare, I'm like over here gushing because I'm just like Shakespeare's everything. I actually had a conversation with my coworker just the other day talking about Hamlet and whether or not he was actually insane or if he was a genius just playing everybody. Yeah. So classics are my thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's what you take from those classic works too, because a lot of those messages or the themes, because they're true in human nature, you can learn something from it.
Yeah, I appreciate Shakespeare because, well, my wife now, but I joined theater in high school because she was in it. And we did some of the like Shakespeare, like one-act plays, and we did A Midsummer Night's Dream
with Oberon. Yeah, we did that play too in high school.
So that was a lot of fun. And so for me, I was just like, I don't understand, but
the language is so hard. Though it's hard to get through that language. Yeah.
Making sure it's so different. But then like once I had to have somebody explain, this is what they're saying, and then a director. I feel like it's a good director who's going to do that. This is what they're saying. This is how you're going to portray it. Maybe the words, but you bring it out in your actions and other ways and show it. So it's really interesting.
Wait, you joined drama just because Jen was in it?
It was theater.
The backstory.
It was theater.
But you did it just for the girl?
I like how she caught that.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and it clearly worked out for you.
It worked out. You see there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out okay.
Theater love. Yeah.
Yeah, you learned a lot. But I joined the next year. So she was like, hey, you want to be in this one-act play with me? It's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did the one-act play. And then the next year I was like, yeah, I'll be in the class. Let's go. I'll learn.
It's a snowball effect. And look at you now.
It happens.
Theater love.
Yeah. We got about like three or 4 minutes left. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you'd like to share? Or maybe we can go back and talk about it some more?
Yeah. Let me just share this with everybody. Don't be afraid to volunteer. Don't be afraid to make an impact and do things that you're passionate about. If you are passionate in working with animals, check out the local animal shelter. If you're passionate about books or you want to learn more about the library or the processes behind the scenes, because believe me, there is a process, then go out there and research, look into that organization, and then make an impact. Nothing is too small or too big. It's all about you giving back and being willing to impact your community.
You think it's important for people to give back?
Absolutely, yeah. We're all blessed to bless somebody else in the sense of, you have something today, but you're not always going to be guaranteed to have that. And the skills that you learn within volunteering is just, it's mind-boggling because like I said before, my volunteers are learning how to edit green screen. They're learning kind of Hollywood production without having to go to Hollywood. They're learning how to prepare events and then make sure that they're successful because we walk through with them point A, point B, point C, point D to get them to that overall ending point. And it is a process because a lot of times people just think, I get a lot of the credit because I'm like the face of the volunteer program, but I couldn't do it without the library staff. I couldn't do it without the volunteers. I couldn't do it with programs like your own that invite me out into the community. So it's a team effort, and just seeing how the volunteers can get involved in that and be utilized for so much more than just shelving books. And people think when you volunteer at the library, you're just shelving books. That was like the biggest stigma.
Yeah.
Every time we started orientation, I say, what do you do at a library? What do you think about when you think about volunteering? And the first thing is shelving books. We're just going to shelve books. We're not just going to shelve books. We're going to make an impact on the community, and we're going to work with all the different groups.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I want to come by and check out like the green screen, software and the wall and everything. Oh, God, that'd be cool.
Absolutely.
So we have one that we use here, and what we do, and it's a little bit different. So there's a projector like outside of our studio here.
Okay.
And it literally will shine a green on that wall.
Okay.
And then we can film in front of it and capture and then go back and replace the green with the projector. And we've also done it we have an LED wall over there. It's a huge LED wall, and so we've done the same thing, but it just depends on how close you are to it.
So do you know why they use the green screen?
It's just a color. It's an awkward color that, as far as I understand, like most people aren't going to be wearing that one.
That's why
because you can pick any color, I think. But
And
then it
green
might
book's
pull it out of your shirt.
Yeah, and it will. I did the Teen Book Box promo video, and so we had a patch of the Sour Patch Kids, and it kind of pulled it out of there. But they use green because it's such a different variation in tone from the skin. Yeah.
So it was that green in the Sour Patch?
Yeah, it was like
That's awesome.
it was the background of the video. Yeah. Check it out on Facebook.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So how can they find you on Facebook?
So they can find us on Facebook at Helen Hall Library, and of course we're located in League City. If you want to find me personally, you can email me at london.lawrence@leaguecitytx.gov. It's a long email, but you can play the video back or the recording. And then also you can also call me if you just so happen to want to hear my lovely voice, or get me to sign your fall brochure at, what's my number? It's 281-554-1116. And we're also always welcoming volunteers. So come on down and volunteer.
All right. Hey, I'm glad that we could finally get you in. I feel like it was, and I know you're busy and trying to make sure we get it in. But I was telling Crystal before we came in, I was like, I think we've communicated a lot.
It was the weather. We've had a few obstacles, but we're here.
rain.
We weathered the storm, and we're here.
Yeah, it was like, hey, well, it's kind of flooding. We don't know what's going on. It's going to maybe rain some more tomorrow. And then there was some other stuff and prior commitments and scheduling issues. So, hey, I'm glad we were able to make it work.
Thank you so much for having me. I definitely enjoyed it.
Thank you. Hey, we're taking a quick break. This was London Lawrence here in studio with Helen Hall Library, volunteer coordinator. If you want to get involved with him, make sure that you reach out and you can find his info. Go back on our Facebook stream and leave a comment. In London, you need to go back anyways and hit up Desiree.
I'm definitely doing that as soon as I get back to the office.
Shout out to Brazilian Drops.
Yes,
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce and the St. Louis Resort is going to be in studio. It's KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
It's nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch. Okay. Let me know if there's an event coming up. But, yeah, I do want to stop by sometime.
Come by.
It'd be cool to visit. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Get a library card.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
To the madhouse.
Hey,
Thank you.
Crystal, Glinda King said hi.
Hi, Glinda.
She said hi. I'm not sure if you could hear her. Her mic's on, so it's kind of. Oh, yeah. We got Lauren. One of my favorite people to have in studio. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. What's your name?
I'm Melanie.
Melanie. I'm going to write that down.
It's Melonee.
Like Melanie.
Okay, because that's not how it was spelled in the email.
Oh, it might have been autocorrected.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So say it again.
Melonee.
Maybe it was spelled that way in the email. I'm sure
I'm
it
not
was.
sure. If it was from my phone, it might have gotten autocorrected.
Yeah, so last night, and I usually do this earlier, I'll kind of look at the day, the week, what's going on. And I was like, I know that Helen Hall's coming in because me and in London, have you ever met him yet?
That
Just
sounds so familiar.
London Lawrence. So he hasn't been with them too long, but just this year. But he's got a lot implemented, and so it was pretty
That's awesome.
interesting to talk about. But we've had a lot of communication because we had to reschedule because it was the weather whenever it started raining a lot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so me and him, I feel like we're best friends. So I finally met him. I was like, oh, hey. But I was like, I guarantee he will be there. But I was like, man, I should have checked earlier with Lauren. It was like 10:30. And I was like, I'm not going to send her a message or a text because I don't know, she may be asleep. So I was like, I'm going to send an email. Emails are always okay.
You're good. So was that him?
Yes.
Oh, we waved to each other. He does look familiar, but I probably, just in the community, if he's been so involved, I've probably seen him.
Yeah.
And with, being new to the chamber, I've met a lot of people. So
How is that?
it's going really well. I love it. It's been so much fun.
So we got Melanie.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Doing good. I love having Lauren in, and she brings me awesome guests, so I'm excited to meet you.
Thank you.
So can you let me know, before we go on the FM, just chat for a bit, what do you have going on?
A lot. My name is Melanie. I work at the San Luis Resort in Galveston, Texas. I'm a sales manager there. It's a lot of fun. I focus on group sales, so bringing corporate business to the island. We have a great relationship with the chamber, and we really, really enjoy being a part of them and being a member. And I'm also part of the Young Professionals, so I get to attend a lot of their events.
Hey, isn't there something coming up with that? Is
So
it
young
tomorrow?
professionals and women in business. She comes to both.
Yes.
Cool.
So it is next Tuesday is the Young Professionals, where we're teaming up with Higher Up Texas, and they're seniors from Dickinson High School are gonna come hang out with our young professionals because they're the next wave of young professionals. So it's kind of a little mentor hangout thing. We're going to have some yard games. We have a couple food trucks coming. And
Do you know which ones yet?
yeah, so Good Grub Grill is who we're looking at. And also we're also having an ice cream truck.
All
We're
right.
still trying
That's
to
awesome.
close in on that. So that's going to be fun. And then next Thursday is our Women in Business Luncheon, hosted by the San Luis Resort at the Grotto.
Yes.
So my sister, she worked there years ago as is the right word, and I'm probably saying it wrong, is it concierge?
We have concierge, yes. Was
Yeah,
she a
so-
hotel concierge?
I'm pretty sure she was. This was like 10, 15 years ago. She was there for a bit, and she enjoyed it. She loved it. She used to live on the island. It seems like a very big facility. What do you? Because y'all offer. I'm thinking obviously you can stay there as a guest at the hotel, but there's so much more than that.
Oh, yeah. So,
What do y'all have?
So the San Luis Resort, the actual hotel, to kind of lay out the complex for you. So we have 3 hotels on our resort and 1 convention center. So we have a ton of meeting space, a ton of really great space for holiday parties, for weddings. It's a really great venue. And then the San Luis Hotel, the pool has a really great allure attraction. We offer wonderful cabanas, day beds. All of the San Luis hotel rooms face the Gulf of Mexico. So that's pretty unique to have every room actually face the ocean and offer a balcony. So it's really neat. And then we have a complete conference center available to help our meeting attendees. And we do a lot of group business in the off season.
So do you just work with the resort, or do you work with the hotels as well?
So I work for the San Luis Hotel, the Hilton, Holiday Inn, and also the Galveston Island Convention Center. So I sell all of those properties.
That's a lot.
It is, but it's a lot of fun. I have been with the property since 2010.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and so I started off there as a waitress and just have kind of worked my way up through the different
So you've been there
departments.
since 2010. I'm trying to think if my sister was working there then. Maybe. And I don't know. I'm scared to say her name, just in case you do know her and you're like, that.
No.
Anyway, let's go ahead and go on the FM if that's okay, and we'll get it started and keep it going. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. Let me know if you have any questions. Have you been to the resort, to the hotel? Have you been to an event? There's an event that I want to. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. I'm going to ask you later because there's something, and I'm going to see if y'all could host it. I would love. I'm going to make sure y'all don't look at that.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't even see that
cool.
anyways.
All right, here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:04 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, and I have some guests in studio. We just finished up talking to London with the Helen Hall Library in League City. Right now we're going to switch it up. We're going to be talking to the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce. We got Lauren in studio. Lauren, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. I am too.
I wish you were here all the time. Do you just want to hang out all the time with me?
I mean, yes, but I'm still not used to, going on air and all that stuff. I still have to wear things to cover my nerve sweats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, me too. So you brought a guest, you brought a friend.
Yes.
And can you kind of introduce her, and then we can talk about everything she has going
So
on?
this is Melanie with the San Luis Resort, and she is here to kind of give everybody the spiel about how they're hosting our next Women in Business at the Grotto there, which is going to be awesome and super beautiful.
That's a restaurant that is that I'm trying to think. I'm sure if I've eaten there before, but I know I've heard the name and I'm seeing the font in my head. Grotto. So what is that event that's taking place, and I guess how many people can y'all hold there? How many people are expected for that event?
So usually Women in Business, we get anywhere from 20 to almost 40 women, just depending on scheduling and
Sure.
the time of year and all that stuff. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it's usually a pretty decent sized group.
Do y'all hold a lot of events like that?
Oh, yeah. We host a lot of events, especially with the chamber and local businesses, as far as coming out and having a lunch with us or a dinner or a reception. The Grotto itself, it's an authentic Italian restaurant. It's beautiful. 3 of the 4 walls are glass, so you're just getting views of the pool and the ocean. It's set for about 90, so we can definitely accommodate large groups
I'll
in
make sure
there.
and send out 50 more invites.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So you kind of walked through before we went on the FM. Y'all have multiple hotels, multiple restaurants, all kinds of stuff, even places to hold like conferences and stuff. Can you walk through and let me know exactly what y'all have there?
So we have anything from, if you're looking to just come out and have a nice vacation, we can definitely accommodate that. And then any type of meeting, whether it's intimate, you're just going to have a quick board meeting with 5 people, or you're going to have a large trade show with, 2,000 people. We can accommodate any of those. We have an exhibit hall that has over 43,000 square feet of space. So an easy load-in access. So we can do really, really big shows, or we can do intimate, day meetings if that's what your need is. And we have about 250 rooms at the San Luis, 240 rooms at the Hilton, and 180 at the Holiday Inn. And so resort-wide, we can accommodate pretty large groups.
Yeah. And I'm guessing on like holiday weekends, and it's gonna be harder to get rooms. But even in the summer, a lot of people will come and visit Galveston because there's a lot that y'all offer there.
Oh yeah, we're definitely Houston's best kept secret. We really, in the summertime, a lot of our guests are there for vacation, and and you should be. It's a beachfront property. It's beautiful, and the service is second to none. So, it's really awesome if you're coming for a vacation, if you're coming from Houston and you just want to get out of town for a little while, or if you're coming from out of state. And Galveston is just an amazing place to come and experience that, especially if, for our conference attendees that are coming from out of town, it is awesome. Thanks. It is awesome to come down to the island because a lot of people don't know about Galveston, and they don't know what opportunities are there and what all we offer. And then they're very surprised to find out just how many options we have on the island that are owned by our ownership, which we're owned by Landry's.
Yeah, so that's Mr. Fertitta. He owns that, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of the Houston Rockets, and so I'm a big fan of Mr. Fertitta, and I love the San Luis, Pleasure Pier. All the Landry restaurants, got my Landry's card.
Nice.
And I got tickets to the Rockets game, so life is good.
Yes.
So I love everything that you guys got going on. I feel like I don't take advantage of having Galveston, 10 minutes, away from where I'm at right now as often as I should. And like you said, it's a secret that I think people just don't take advantage. I know myself, I'm guilty of it. But I'll say in the summer, me and my wife, we went down and stayed and got a room just for the Saturday, and we're out at the pool. And it's a great, just like a little day thing, and then went back.
That's what we do. We do staycations in Galveston or downtown Houston. They're close, but island life is just so different from suburban or even downtown Houston. It's nice.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's like I'm guessing on purpose. I know even people that are from Galveston, there's a vibe there. At the San Luis, do y'all kind of, take that on? Is it a part of who you are? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a part of our culture. That is what's so unique about the San Luis. You can come be on vacation, but it's also serious. Like if you're there for a conference, you're going to get work done. We're a legit conference center. We have dedicated conference planners and conference service assistants that are there to help with the meetings and help get everything set up. And then you go at the end of it, you go up to your room and you're just hit with this amazing view, and so any stresses of the day can wash off of you, and it's a really unique experience.
Yeah, and then after that, the cabana and the lounges.
Oh yeah, and it's amazing for unique team building experiences, receptions. We also own the Pleasure Pier. We have a lot of groups that'll come. They'll meet on the property, and then they'll go do a team building reception that evening at the Pleasure Pier. And that's something that's really cool to be able to offer, to say, hey, you're standing on a historical pier where you're going to get to play all these games, do all this fun stuff, eat wonderful food, and just look out at the Gulf. So.
Well, and that's what we do, too, sometimes with our leadership, because we do a leadership group once a year.
Yeah.
And so one of our kind of out-of-town overnight things that we do is go stay at the San Luis, and we do team building there and all that other good stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, they definitely treat our members super good.
Crystal's actually going to Galveston on Friday, and I'm sure she will end up probably eating at a Landry's property or Pleasure Pier or something.
Actually, we usually go to Guido's.
What?
That's my dad's favorite.
I'm about to flip this table right now.
Well, I used to go to Olympia. That was like my favorite everything. But
Yeah.
No Olympia.
I like Olympia too. Galveston has so much that it offers. If somebody so we've went and filmed and done some stuff with a company called Skydive Galveston, and we ran into people that were from all over the world. Like, no joke. They're like, well, I flew in to come skydiving, and because this is like one of the only places you can do it on the beach. And so that's a big deal. And so we have a beach right here. So it's more, yes, there's the food, there's the awesome restaurants and hotels and everything, but there's also a vibe, and a big part of that is the beach and the seawall.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask about my event. And I've been wanting one of these to happen in Galveston, and I'm sure it has. I know they do like the Battle of the Badges, but I want like professional MMA to come to Galveston. I feel like it would be awesome. Are y'all set up to handle something like that?
So we're set up to handle just about any kind of show or an event like that. We did host the Battle of the Badges. We have our convention center. That's something that would probably be more ideal for that. And then, but I'd be happy to get your information after this and get you in contact with the right person.
Can we bring in a
that.
cage?
You would have to.
Yeah.
So there's a promotion, and they've done some stuff. They do it in Houston and Humble, and now they just got back from Colorado like 2 weeks ago. And so we're hooked up with the guy who does some production. He's a police officer in Tech City, but it's Fury Fighting Championships. And so I was like, can we please bring Fury Fighting to Galveston? How can we make this happen?
We can totally do that.
Humble's too far, and there's Galveston right here.
Yeah.
It's way better than Humble. Come on.
Plus, it's no offense to Humble, but it's much cooler to stay in Galveston after that, because that's what we do. We stay after Battle of the Badges. We stay at the San Luis and all that other stuff and hang out after Battle of the. I mean, it's much nicer and cooler to stay in Galveston.
180 rooms here, 120 rooms there. There's another 100 there. You know, with that many rooms and restaurants, do you have an estimate? How many people do y'all employ just in that resort and hotel?
Ooh, I do not know.
It's a lot.
I do not know the answer to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, because all of the attractions, and that's just a lot of jobs. And so it's just nice that we have these amenities.
Yeah.
But then it's nice that, like, hey, these are, good jobs that people are able to have. And you've been working there since 2010.
Yes.
And kind of have worked into the role that you're here.
Yes.
Well, that speaks
now.
a lot about their company, too, that somebody who started off as a waitress wanted to stay and commit to a higher role, and they promote from within and all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
That's a
and
lot.
if you look at the longevity of our company, you will find that we have a lot of people who've been there for a very long time.
Awesome.
So we have a lot of people who've been there, 20 plus years. And it's very impressive. Our director of catering, she's been there, I believe, 19 years. Our director of conference planning, he's been there 20 years. Our assistant director of conference planning, she's been there 20 plus years. Our vice president has been there 20 plus years. So there's a lot of people who've been with the company for a long time. And I think that speaks volumes, especially when you're looking to host an event that's your wedding or your Christmas party, your holiday party, or a conference that's important to you. These people care. We care, and we've been here for a long time, and we are always constantly enhancing the properties and raising the bar and trying to hold our level of service up there as high as we can.
How long have y'all been there?
So the property was built in the 80s, and then Tillman bought it in the 90s. Mr. Fertitta bought it in the 90s. So we've been there for a while, and we've constantly enhanced our property, always raising the level and the quality.
Yeah, well, you have to. I'll go to, like, hotels. Like, if I'm out of town, I'm going somewhere, right? And if they're, like, updating the hotel, it's good. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it may be like an inconvenience, but at the end of the day, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's nice that, because that seems like you almost have to consistently do it when you think about, hey, the traffic that comes in here. Yeah, you got to, keep it up to keep it on the level that people are used to.
Yes. But I mean, you'll, as far as like renovations go or anything like that, we have a really great team, really great system. So it's not like you're walking into an inconvenient situation ever. And I mean, they're so awesome. Like, they do it so fast, so behind the scenes.
Yeah, they are pretty low key about renovations.
Yeah. So you never it never really has ever affected me now that I think about it. 'Cause I'm
if you go there frequently, you never I mean, you'll notice when there's new stuff or
It's all new. It's
that
like,
kind of
when'd you
stuff,
do this?
But you don't know when it happens.
And there's
so.
proper times to handle all of that. And like I said, we have a skilled team that they do handle all of that, looking at, occupancy and everything.
Can plan around the busy time. Let's do it before, after, enough time so it's everything is ready to go.
For sure.
Because here's the other thing that always trips me out too. Like sometimes calling hotels, not like, hey, well, we're booked or we got a cancellation or all this stuff. I'm like, man, look how big this hotel is. There's a lot of people coming and enjoying everything. Yep. But that's reality. A lot of times y'all are, people are booked or, hey, call ahead. If it's a busy time, we're going to be booked.
Yeah. Working in the hotel industry is just so much fun. I can't say that enough. It is a lot of fun. You always have different people coming in and out, and you get to meet a lot of people and see different faces. And one of the coolest parts about that is whenever a guest leaves and then they share with you that experience.
Yes.
And you feel like, oh, okay, like I did my job.
Yeah.
I did it,
Cool.
And so that's awesome.
So we talked a little bit about an event that I hope one day we can arrange down there. Is there an event that you have not been a part of or you haven't seen yet at the resort that you hope to bring in? Like, I would love to be able to do, I don't know, something like a pet show or like I don't know if y'all have done something like
a pet fashion show.
a pet fashion show.
So we have done we've done pet shows, we've done fashion shows. I've seen a lot of really great things happen and great events happen at the property. So, I mean, to me, the sky's the limit. I'm trying to constantly bring new business to the property, and it's exciting, and that creates jobs and helps us be successful. So, yeah, I'm always looking at new opportunities. Anything out there,
Yeah, I think y'all have done a fashion. Has there been fashion shows there before?
Oh yeah, we've done fashion shows, and I don't know the exact specifics to what fashion shows, but we handle a lot of charity events, and sometimes those will have fashion shows. A lot of that goes through our catering department through Michelle Beckwith.
Yeah.
She's our director of catering, and she's very talented, and it's amazing what she can do and how she can transform a room.
That's cool. Here's a comment from Mr. Brendan Keys. Good morning to you, sir. He is the owner of Celtic FC America. They're a semi-pro soccer team here locally. And he said the San Luis, for me, is the best in Galveston. And then he mentioned something about the pool and how it's second to none. Mm-hmm. So what's going on with the pool area?
So the pool is just first off, it's really unique because, it's sitting up there. It's already at, we're on a old bunker, so it's elevated. Mm-hmm. So when you pull up to the San Luis, you're on the third floor if you come in through the valet. So it's elevated, and you can see the beach. So you're hanging out at the pool, and you can see the ocean. So that already is a really unique concept. It's a very big pool deck, so there's a lot of activity happening. We have waitresses that can come out and, serve anything that you would like to eat out there. Or drink, and we have cabanas. In the summertime, we try to have we have different team building things that are going on and activities for the kids. So sometimes there's like hula hoop contests going on or tie-dye contests going on, or they're playing different games like giant Jenga or giant chess. So we have a lot of activity going on out there, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. So, the sky's the limit to what you want to do out there.
That's cool. Hey, If you had to pick your favorite part, is it going to be the pool? I feel like
Mine's the pool.
Yeah, it would have to be the pool.
For sure.
Or like the restaurants. Or like what is?
They're great, but so I like the pool area because it's the luxury and the cool factor of a Las Vegas pool kind of area, but not as much party and craziness. So it's a lot of fun, and it's super relaxing. And again, you can, if you're a guest there, even if you're not a guest there, you can pretty much get whatever you need and want and all that kind of stuff. You're taken care of.
Yeah.
So
I guess you can get food there too.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, the restaurant or the pool. It's like, nah, you can have
I pretend
both.
I'm in the movies, and I'm like,
another hamburger. Yeah. And what about like bringing your family? Is that a pretty family friendly
Absolutely.
option as well?
Absolutely. The pool deck is definitely a huge appeal. And I've been there for a very long time, and I've got to see different events and different, anything that I've seen out there play out. And I think the pool deck is definitely a great spot to host a reception. And I think it really brings something a different factor, especially if this is a reoccurring meeting or event that you've hosted, to bring it to the island and host it out by the pool deck is phenomenal. I also love the Grotto restaurant because I just think that is a fantastic place to go have dinner because it has this amazing view. And I don't know, have you ever been in the Grotto?
So here's the thing. I think I have. So if I'm going to the Galleria and I exit, 610, like I'm coming from here, and I go right instead of going under the overpass, is there one right there?
So we have a grotto in the Galleria area. We have several grottos. We have a grotto downtown, grotto in the Galleria area, and then we have a grotto in Galveston.
So I've been to the one in the Galleria area. That's so yeah, it's awesome.
The food is amazing, and it's definitely one of my favorite restaurants.
Cool.
Well, and it's good for lunch and it's good for dinner, but it's cool date night. It's not super crazy high end, but you get that good feeling about it to where you can dress up and feel fancy and stuff.
What about desserts?
So,
are you not on the diet anymore?
No, I am. I'm just daydreaming.
Desserts are definitely my favorite part. We have a wonderful coconut pie that they serve there. It's amazing. And it's kind of funny because, like, our director of catering, she was telling me she doesn't even like coconut, but she loves this pie, and she has to get it every time her mom comes in town, buys it, and brings an entire pie home. It's phenomenal. That's one of my favorite desserts. And then I guess I'm old-fashioned because I love the cheesecake. I love our cheesecake.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
That's usually my like either key lime pie, cheesecake, and chocolate cake. Like if that's on the menu or they bring out the tray, and I'm just like, you know what it is. Like, whichever one. They're all going to be good for the most part.
The food and beverage at the San Luis is amazing. The food is it is so good. And it's hard. It's hard working there. I have to work out like every night because there's just so much food and it's all so good. Yeah. It really is.
All right. So you mentioned earlier, Lauren, if you're listening on 99.5 FM, we're talking to the Tech City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce with Lauren, and then we also have Melanie, who is talking about the San Luis Resort Hotel, everything they have going on. So there's a young professionals event coming up, and then there's also a women in business, right?
Mm-hmm. Which you still can't come to.
I cannot. I've been trying. I'm interested on the Facebook event, but it's just a no, I guess. So that's going to be at San Luis, right?
So the Women in Business is going to be hosted at the Grotto at the San Luis. So it's going to be awesome. And that is, our RSVPs are coming in so quick.
So who is invited? If I can't attend, who is invited?
Female professionals, business professionals.
Because here's the thing. Pierre invites me to his women's conference on Friday, which I'm planning to go.
Maybe one of these times we can have a gentleman's table just like at the women's conference.
Okay.
I will discuss and work on that for you.
Maybe talk to Pierre, see if there's pros and cons. He's a very wise man.
Yeah, instead of a kid's table, we'll have a gentleman's table.
Oh man! So here, like last year when I went to the women's conference, the dudes table was cool, but there was a lot other tables I'd rather be sitting at. I was like, I want to talk. Oh man! So like afterwards, just going around and just being able to talk.
Well, and the chamber's going to be there this year, so Jenny, our president, is going to be moderating. So
at
Pierre's?
At the
women's conference, Bay Area Women's Conference.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll say hi. Hopefully she remembers me.
She'll remember you.
I'll never know. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break on the FM right now. It's 10:25. It's KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Come on. All right. So there's a question from Tiffany. It's a good question, Tiffany. So for the women in business, is this open for only members of the chamber, or can anybody attend?
No, we're still doing it for right now for non-members also. So basically it's another meetup group to help, women business professionals network or make connections or, resources that they don't usually have sometimes.
Okay, so is there any, as far other than your meal, is there any kind of cost associated with attending?
So it's $15 and that includes the meal and hopefully some coconut cake or pie.
It's $15. Mm-hmm. Now I'm upset. That's
it's going to be delicious.
That's a
awesome.
great
view, great food, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's a good price too. So I was just $15. We're able to eat this good for $15 and hang out and network.
So they can go to tclmchamber.com and register as a guest, and that's how they can get on.
All right, I'm gonna write that tclmchamber.com. And Tiffany, if you could please attend this and live stream it for me, so that way I can get access, I
Smell-o-vision?
guess.
Yeah,
I can get motivated and connected and just show me the food, take a picture, post it on KHEA's wall.
I'll do step by step photos.
Snapchat, like,
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
here's my first course.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it'll be
man.
good. You can definitely register as a guest.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. She said that's awesome. Yeah, feel free to attend. And if you have any other questions, let me know. But the San Luis is in Galveston, right off of the seawall. It's a huge property. And, you know, with the other hotels right there, I think sometimes people, I guess, don't realize, like, hey, this block is owned by is owned by the same group, right?
And it's actually 32 acres.
It's 32 acres.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That is a lot, especially in Galveston. Just like you always, I think of expansion like, oh, League City is 50% built out, you know, is what they say. Galveston is, I don't know what the percentage of it, if it's built out. I'm sure there's property where you can still build, but at least that's like prime real estate, you know, like right there. And it's it's been there for years.
It has, it's beautiful. It's beachfront. We have a ton of food and beverage options. So we have the Grotto in the San Luis, the Steakhouse in the San Luis, Blake's Bistro. And then, of course, you can go out to the pool, the Cove, and have lunch, dinner, if you wanted to out there. We also have Landry Seafood Restaurant on our resort, IHOP, Rainforest Cafe, Palm Court in the Hilton, and then we have the Jetty in the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to my wife. We're going to have to go stay like really soon.
You have the card. You can just go to every single place and get that.
Yes. And
Yes, your LSE.
I'm going to have to
Get your
pretend like
points.
it's my birthday.
Get your
Be like, my
points.
birthday on my ID is totally wrong.
I'm celebrating my half birthday.
Yeah, my half birthday. Yeah. So
It's amazing. It's a really great place to come in every day and work. And I live in Pearland, so I commute every day. And people always, you know, their first thing, they're like, wow, that's a commute. And I'm like, I really enjoy it because every day I drive in and I see the ocean, you know? And so, I don't know, it's different. It's not like going into the city and being surrounded by buildings.
is that Highway 6 or how do you get there?
So I go the Beltway to 45, and it's just
Okay.
a straight shot, and there's usually never any traffic.
Do you like the murals that they put on the
I do.
on the causeway?
I do like them. They're very pretty.
Yeah, they are. That's Gabriel Prismack.
Yes.
He did those. He's a very talented local Galvestonian that I feel like he captured the vibe of the island.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's
as
pretty
you
neat.
drive into the island, it totally changes everything. It's really
So
nice.
when I graduated from high school, I went to Galveston College for a couple years. I didn't finish at Galveston College. Actually, I went there for like 2.5, and I was like, I'm not even done with this 2-year degree. Like, what am I doing? But I remember I didn't have AC in my car at the time, and so my windows were down anyways. But when you hit the causeway and you get there and you like smell the ocean
Yeah,
air,
totally different.
it's totally different, and the
It
wind's
is.
blowing different. It's fun. It's like a vibe that is you can't get anywhere else in our area.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're very fortunate that we have that here.
Well,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
from Southern California, where I grew up on the beach, that's where I get my fixes.
Yeah.
Galveston all the time. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, my boys have to learn how to surf this summer.
How old are your kids again?
11 and 13.
Yeah, I like watching the updates that people put about their families and stuff. And
Yeah.
I seen you had put some stuff about one of your sons. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I enjoy reading.
Yeah, they're teenagers. You'll find that out soon.
Yeah, my son's 6, and then my daughter's 2, and my wife is pregnant, and so
Oh,
that's where we're going.
congratulations. How did I
going
not
through
find this out?
Thanks.
Have you not blasted on social media? How
Nah,
come? Oh, okay. Well,
just
congratulations.
chill. Just like randomly throw it in like that on air, like
Congratulations.
every once and again. Other than that, thanks. It's a boy.
Congratulations.
yay.
I keep telling my son my son's name is Kellen. I was like, he's Kellen Jr. Like telling him that, and he's like, no. I don't
too
know. He's
funny.
funny, but good stuff.
Brothers are fun. I mean, they at least mine either love or hate each other. So,
It's like 0-100. Like
Basically,
depends on how
yeah.
they're getting along.
so it's either patching up drywall because wrestling got too serious.
It got real. Yeah.
Or they miss each other whenever they go off to spend the night at friends' houses.
Okay.
I only have one brother, but I have 6 sisters.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, like I'm just trying to think. Like, did everybody go into like the same line of work? It's like, well, actually, they work for like other hotels, or is everybody like all over the place?
Yeah, so we just have taken over the hotel industry. No, I'm the only one that works in the hotel industry. But two of my sisters are nurses. One of my sisters, she's married to her husband was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and so they travel all over. So she's actually in Boston, and he just retired. So excited for her. And then I have another sister that's in Denver, and then I have a sister that's right outside of Chicago. Wow. Yeah, and she's doing event planning, and she's really involved with her community. And she worked for the YMCA doing event planning for a long time. And then one of them is a hairdresser down in Texas City. That's where we're from. Mm-hmm. And so she works at a local shop in Texas City. She really enjoys it. And then two of my other sisters are nurses. They work in the area. That's cool. Yeah. And then my brother, he lives in Austin.
Yeah.
Poor him. He's had all these girls.
Like enough said. Oh, wow. Okay, so here's a thought. I'm going to try and get this out the best way possible. So Mr. Fertitta, he owns the Rockets. I remember back in the day, this is actually probably, I don't remember this, but I went back and watched documentaries. Like whenever the Rockets won the championship one year.
In the 90s?
Yeah, and then in the 90s, which I remember like more the second year than I do the first year, that the Rockets went down to Galveston and did like a training camp, like a session. Right now they're in Tokyo. And I mean, Tokyo is great, but it would be really cool if they were in Galveston and had like open practices and there's like hotels and everything else. That'd be a lot of fun.
They're in Tokyo though to build up the basketball following. We're here, it's already huge. So maybe they can just get like amped up to hopefully make it to the finals.
That's my hope. But well, I'm saying last time that they trained in Galveston, they won the championship and they got a good
point.
Yeah, I'm just bring it back, and I think we got a good chance this year. So
we should present this to him, and then also give Gardy the credit so that you can get tickets.
I want no credit. I'll just like vicariously like enjoy the championship like it's mine. But it's obviously it's not. But it's funny. I mean, fans like myself, and I'm looking at the Astros right now are doing great.
Yeah.
Just how people are like my Astros, and it's just like obviously you don't have any ownership in the team, but it's a big emotional roller coaster at times.
You got to wear your Astros gear tomorrow, though.
I changed my Bitmoji to the Astros.
Yes.
Because my Bitmoji was wearing the Astro gear when they won. So I was like, last night the game wasn't looking so hot, so I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to change into my
That's what we did. We moved outside to our shop to watch the game, and we started out eating peanuts because like trying to recreate what we were doing the last time they won.
Yes, I'm actually pulling up my Bitmoji right now just to show y'all what he's rocking, and this is what he's been wearing since I created my Bitmoji. If he'll work, let me see.
Capris in a hoodie.
Well, no, he looks good. My Bitmoji, it's just spinning. Maybe I'll just let him sit there for a bit. No, he's wearing a Rockets jersey.
Oh, so, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So they had released that like a while back. And I was like, I got to wear this.
Oh, yeah. I love to put my Bitmoji in the Rockets gear.
100%. All right. Hey, so we'll make a switch. We can go back on the FM and keep it going. We got about a minute. And then we can do that. But
I should probably, I know I have one. I just don't keep up with it.
Have what?
Bitmojis.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fun.
Oh, I have to agree to the terms.
They've updated it.
Yes. Your avatar in a new style. No, I don't want a new style. I look. This is the best I've ever looked in Bitmoji form. I don't know. Oh, I know. I'll take a picture and then. I don't know how to use Snapchat. I'm too old. Never mind. Never mind. Okay.
I think the only reason why I use Snapchat is for my boy's grandmother, so they can both do the crazy faces and send them to each other.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You can get the Bitmoji keyboard, and that way you can just send your Bitmoji in messages.
Oh.
I like to do that. Me and my friends, we send Bitmojis
Make
to
a note of
communicate.
Bitmoji keyboard.
Keyboard. See? Yeah, mine's just living in Snapchat, stuck there. My mom has Snapchat. Do y'all have any of that going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. She just, I think sometimes her thumb gets stuck on the snap. And so I'm just like, I'll like, seriously? Because I'm like, I'll skip ahead. Like after watching the first one, I'm like,
yeah,
Mom, what are you doing? Like, get out of here. Because she just like will snap like an entire event. It's like a 10-minute thing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? That's not a snap.
Public service announcement. Stop snapping and driving. Oh my
yes,
gosh.
yes.
I don't do that.
Yeah. So stop.
I don't. I barely
The
snap.
look on your face.
No, but we did, like last year came up with, Live and Drive, talking about like Facebook Live. A lot of people will do that too, and I have done that like last year, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
If I was going to go live while driving, it would be somebody else doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also ways to secure a camera
Exactly.
as well.
Well,
if you
for
need
one,
to.
nobody wants to stare at your radio station
No.
display thing for 5 minutes. But two, it's also dangerous.
It is
It's
dangerous.
dangerous.
It is dangerous. So that is a good PSA. Thank you. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:37 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. We've been talking during the break about everything. I got Lauren in here. I got Melanie in here. We're talking about the chamber, the Tech City Lamarck Chamber. We're talking about the San Luis hotel, resort, everything they have going on. And we're touching on like Snapchat, Bitmojis, and everything else that's just going on. So how are y'all doing this morning?
Good. We're getting ready for Bayou Fest. We haven't even talked about that.
That's next weekend, the 19th.
Yes.
All day.
I'm in charge of the cook-off, so I have the
Really?
best job.
Yes, you do.
I do. I get to eat my way through the cook-off.
Yeah. I think next Tuesday we're going to give away Kevin Fowler meet and greet passes.
Nice.
wow.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm stoked on that.
Yeah, because we have the Shiny Ribs opening up, then Kevin Fowler, and then Clay Walker.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
With you being over the
great lineup.
cook-off, is there any like early favorites to win the whole shebang? It's a big deal.
So yeah, it's the last leg of the Triple Crown, so it's going to be huge. And no, I mean, I'm just excited about the food. Honestly, I
Right.
haven't looked into the forefront runners or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just ready to get the meat sweats.
Yeah. Los Primos, they won the Galveston County Fair, and we were hoping that they would be in our taco cook-off, but they're putting all their focus in that
Yep.
because they have a real chance to win the Triple Crown winner, of the whole thing. So
And
I'm
they're a
I'm
super
rooting
nice
for 'em.
team too.
They are. They're great guys. But Arnold from Texas Pit Stop will be here, and so he's
Yep.
going to be competing next weekend as well
Yep.
at the cook-off. Do you know how many entries there are?
So we're still so today is the last day for our waiting list entries because we already did last year's
Yeah.
cookers. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot more in today, but I think we're over 40 teams.
That's awesome.
So there's over 100 spots available, but the
Yes.
teams will get multiple spots to do multiple
Right.
entries. So, there's still a lot of teams, and it takes a good chunk of, McGaffey Park for the cook-off. So it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited.
What kind of prizes are there for the
So
winners?
cash prizes and trophies.
Okay.
So, and lots of recognition and street cred and all that
What do you
kind of
think
stuff.
people desire the most out of those three things?
Well, it's brisket. It's Texas. For sure.
Well, I mean, like, well, yeah, as far as that brisket, I would agree with you. But like, is it the street cred? Is it the trophy? Or is it the cash? Like, what do you want the most?
I think it's the trophy is probably because especially when you were in best overall, you get a huge trophy, and then when you do the Triple Crown winner, it's like an 8 feet tall trophy too. So I mean, it's awesome. So the trophies are super shiny and awesome, and when you walk in, I'm sure that they have either a display room or they put it on right when you walk into their front door or something.
Yeah,
They're huge, so that alone gives you street cred and bragging rights for sure.
that's awesome. Are you a big fan of barbecue?
Oh, yes.
Molly?
Oh, yes.
Is there good barbecue in Galveston or in Pearland or maybe along the way as you're making commutes?
So I like barbecue a lot. In Galveston, I usually go to Queen's Barbecue. It's really, really good spot.
Mm-hmm.
In Pearland, there's, of course, Killen's Barbecue. There's Texas Central Barbecue, which is really good. And then I grew up in Texas City, so I love Gus's Barbecue.
All right.
I love it. So I'm actually a huge barbecue fan.
Does the Landry's group have any barbecue yet?
We have so many concepts. We have, over 500 nationwide.
So there might have
There's
There's bound to be something in there.
Gotta be.
can Google it.
I would just have to pull it up on the web.
Yeah.
I'd have to pull it up.
Have you had the opportunity to read the brand new book "Shut Up and Listen" by Mr. Tillman Fertitta?
Yeah,
I
so
have
we're
not
all
yet.
reading. Everyone
Was gifted a book. That's the way I do it. If I was a boss, like I wrote a book and everybody's getting one.
It's
Well,
required reading.
I pre-ordered my book.
Awesome.
So I don't know if I was going to get one or not. I just was made sure that I got one.
See, look at the passion of the Landry's Corporation employees.
Oh yeah,
and
we're
stuff.
all
That's
reading the
awesome.
book currently. It's pretty good stuff. I mean, it's just really, it's something to be proud of.
sure.
My owner wrote a book and I get to read it, and it's neat to get to see how he thinks and how he looks at business opportunities, because you can't argue with it. The man is successful and he knows what he's doing, and I have a job because of this. So
Yeah.
it's exciting, and it's something to be really proud of.
And he's done it in like different. We're talking about Tillman Fertitta right now. Like done it in different categories. Like hotels, restaurants, a successful like franchise, and then
Sports, all that kind of stuff.
I'll see him on some of like the podcasts, or even like with Damon John, or some of those other things, like doing promotional stuff. And so it's really cool. And yeah, he has a track record and very successful. So anytime someone like that is talking, you should shut up and listen and read his book. So there you go. That's my plug. It's 10:42 a.m. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. Lauren, you're going to be at Bayou Fest. I think even this weekend they're going to be plotting out spots for the cook-off team.
So they have all the spots already done.
Okay.
They're probably going to be at the park spraying everything off, getting everything done. I know they basically cut all the grass, make sure all the grounds are kept, and get ready for the trailers and
Yeah.
everything. So there's 75 judges. They have the cook-off committee, then all of the teams. We're ordering all of the stuff for the judges to taste perfectly and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. It's
Well,
pretty
there-
intense. Yeah.
Because there's stuff in between. Like I've done some cook-off like judging before, and it's like, oh yeah, pickles and cheese, and
Yep.
here's a soda to cleanse your palate,
Yep.
and water, and
That's on
it's
my list
serious.
to order. Yeah.
The judges, do y'all have like a bunch of like pro judges?
So I know there's like repeat judges who
Right.
have done it and they know what to look for. And then also, if you're interested in judging, I know they're looking for a few more. So just get a hold of me, and I can send you over to the person in charge of the judges. But yeah.
Who is it?
So it's actually one of the committee members' daughter who's always oversees the judges.
Okay.
So
Was the chamber last year over the cook-off as well?
every single year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that you kind of y'all lucked out to get like the best part of the entire event, or is it the music?
Well, so we work really close with the city of Lamarck. So they're awesome about getting the entertainment, because entertainment
Yeah.
is phenomenal and a huge part of Bayou Fest. And then we work with them to get all the vendors. So we do the pumpkin patch, mutton busting, which you can show up and fill out an application and a waiver and send your kids on one of the animals. So yeah, there's pumpkin patch, mutton busting. Yours are young enough.
Yeah, no. There's no my daughter. Yeah, no. I couldn't sign the waiver. I just couldn't do it and be like, yeah, like the mutton, the sheep, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Well, there's also a kids zone, so you can do a kids zone, get a $5 bracelet, and they have there's moonwalks. There's a train that goes around the entire park. There's other activities that's sponsored by ACU, and I mean there's a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Do we? It may be a little far out, but do we know what the weather's going to be like? Last year it was a little bit wet.
How about we just say it's going to be beautiful? It's going to be optimal weather.
All right, we'll see. I'm praying for good weather. That's on the 19th. Bayou Fest is going to be Highland Bayou Park right here in Lamarck, Texas. If you haven't been to Highland Bayou Park, it's beautiful.
It is.
There's
and we
a
also
lot
have
of stuff there.
The fishing competition in the morning, which kicks off everything.
Is that for kids?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it looks like it's going to be. Well, I had the opportunity to go last year, and I saw them doing that.
Yeah, and then Family Practice PA, which is actually right down the street, 2 minutes, not even that. They're actually sponsoring the hot dog stand. So for the kids who are fishing, whenever they're getting hungry or antsy, they can just hop over and go get some hot dogs. So
Very cool.
That's great.
Very cool. Well, let me see. Right now it's 10:45. This is KHEA 99.5 FM. We're talking about the San Luis Hotel and Resort and everything that they have going on. Is there a big event that's coming up? Anything going on? I know, like with the holiday season, it seems like y'all are probably pretty booked because it's the busiest time of the year. It feels like, at least.
Yeah, so we still have availability. So if anyone out there is looking for a great venue for their holiday party, I've kind of touched on all the properties, but we have the San Luis Hotel. We have beautiful ballroom, junior ballroom. We have smaller rooms for more intimate parties. Then we also have the Hilton, which has a beautiful ballroom and a junior ballroom. We have the Galveston Island Convention Center that has 2 ballrooms and some smaller rooms for intimate gatherings and holiday events. And then we also have the Holiday Inn, and they have a ballroom over there.
Okay, and you mentioned you all have like catering on staff. Is that something that you can bring in your own or work with you guys, or how does that work?
So we provide all the catering. So we would handle all of that. So once you decide to have your party with us, we get it booked on the date. Our catering team will take over from there and help guide
So
you through
basically,
it.
no headache. They
Yeah,
take care of
that makes it easier.
Oh, yeah.
Does it work the same way with like tables, linens, and
Yes. So
everything?
we provide the table, the linen. If there's anything, we provide our standard linens. But we work with a couple of different vendors to provide more decorative linens
Sure,
if
yeah.
there's something that you want to do.
what about like sound system, PA, microphones?
We do have in-house AV, audiovisual, so we can accommodate any needs that they may have, or they're welcome to bring in their own.
Because you mentioned there's like presentations, so y'all have like projectors or like screens?
Oh, yes. Yes. So, we do so many conferences, and they require an extensive audiovisual. And we have an in-house audiovisual team. We also can work with other audiovisual teams.
If you need additional to bring in? I'm just thinking from my MMA fight I was planning. Because, yeah, there's like the stage and the entries and the big LED screens and smoke machines. Or smoke
Oh,
machines
yeah,
cool?
for sure.
Smoke machines are so cool.
All right, just making sure that that's allowed. If it's not, that
Well,
could potentially be
I-
adjusted. I don't know.
I think they're cool. I don't know if they're allowed yet. That all has
Oh.
to go through like the fire marshal.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
you have to do that, and then like the lights behind it, so that the smoke is green and
Yeah,
blue and red. And all that.
You got the big LED lights flashing
Yeah.
through the smoke, and it just looks awesome. So we'll get that planned
Yeah,
out.
definitely.
And my friend Kevin Bernhardt is on as well, and he's one of the owners of Reality Wrestling, him and Booker T. And they have the spot in Texas City that they do. But if there was ever like, hey, battle on the island, that may be an opportunity too. And they have like hundreds of people that come to these shows. There's actually one on Saturday night, and we're gonna have Alex Gracia in studio on Friday. She's the women's champion, so that's gonna be fun. That'll be a fun show as well. So would y'all ever consider doing, now that we have been talking about MMA and wrestling, could y'all ever see yourselves in the cage?
No.
So, not the cage. I was considering doing women's rugby one time, actually a couple times, but I don't want to go. I can't come to work or come on KHEA
bruise.
with like bruises and broken bones and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what
So,
happened?
I live vicariously through my 13-year-old. He plays rugby.
He plays rugby?
Yeah, but I get really into. I'm one of those moms who gets really into it, so that's why I considered doing it. And I was like, oh, I can't go to work with crutches or in a wheelchair.
It's a rough sport.
Yeah.
It's a rough sport.
Wow.
I'm not made for the cage. I'm more for the outside of the cage.
Yeah. It's funny. Hey, Lauren, is there anything else you'd like to share about the Chamber, upcoming events, how somebody can join?
So they can always get a hold of me if they're interested in joining. So it's Lauren, Lauren, at texascitychamber.com. You can also go online, tclmchamber.com, and do everything online, which is sometimes easier for some people. You can also give us a call. You can hit us up on Facebook, all of that good stuff. And just keep following us. We have Young Professionals and Women in Business next week. And if you're looking to team up with the Chamber for any event or support or anything like that, just, give us a call. We're
Cool.
still recovering from the golf tournament, so sorry if I'm a little hazy. It was one of our golf tournaments, basically one of our biggest events every year. So
It went good?
it went really well. Thankfully, no rain, no nothing, but it was very hot. I'm sporting my sock tan and other stuff, but yeah, it went really well.
Hey, Pierre had a question as far as the mutton busting. He wants to know if there's an age limit. He's asking for a friend.
There is an age limit, although I know these days some kids are taller than Pierre. So no, Pierre knows that I love him. He's okay. No, Pierre, although I could totally see him doing it though.
I could too.
Yeah, he's pretty intense sometimes. Like he has that energy to just totally own it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you going to be at the event on Friday? Are you able to attend?
I will be at a table while Jenny moderates. So
Awesome. So, yeah, I'll be there after my show. I had Kayla come in to talk about communities and
Yep.
schools, and we had talked about it. It was like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, so this is the day of the women's conference. Just so you know, I was like, are you planning on going? She's like, oh, I'm not sure yet. Probably. I said, let's just put it in, and then if something comes up. So then she hit me up, and she was like, hey, I am going to the women's conference. So I was like, I understand. I'm going to be there too. So I'm going to have one guest on Friday, and then I should just be able to go
Nice. Yeah.
and hit it up. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah. No, it'll be really good. So Jessica and I will be there to support Jenny while she moderates. And yeah, it'll be great to see a bunch of our chamber members go.
Yeah.
So it'll be great.
And that's going to be at South Shore.
Yep.
Over there.
And
Lake
they're
City.
members also. So yeah, they're great.
Very cool. So Melanie, can you remind everybody, what your role is, how somebody can get a hold of you, and anything else you'd like to share that people may know or may need to be reminded of?
So my name is Melanie. I'm a sales manager at the San Luis Resort in Galveston. We sell the San Luis Hotel, the Hilton, Holiday Inn, and the Galveston Island Convention Center. I'm on LinkedIn. You can also call the hotel directly, reach me. You can ask for me. Happy to help. I focus on group sales, so bringing business to the island, corporate business, corporate clients to the island. But we handle anything, and we have a very skilled sales manager team. And so we can get you to the right person depending on what your event is. And
awesome.
we did talk about the book. If anyone is interested in purchasing a book, we are selling them at the hotel.
Nice.
So you can come down and get a copy.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
I want the audio book. Is it him? Have you looked into it? I wonder if it's him reading it. There's something about when the author reads their own book that is just like special.
Well, yeah, you kind of get the tone that they really wanted behind it.
Yes.
So that would be cool.
So
especially if he yells out, "Shut up and listen" all the time.
I have the actual book. That would be amazing. I have the actual book, so I don't have the audio book.
Okay. I'm sure it's, yeah. There has to be an
to be
audio
out there.
version. And it
There
has
is
to be
I know
him.
there is an audio version. I don't have it. A lot of the people that I work with have downloaded it.
Okay.
I should. I'm in the car all the time and I listen to podcasts. But I pre-ordered my book, so I'm reading it.
Yeah. I gotcha. All right. Just a couple reminders. Again, the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference is this Friday. If you are planning to attend, make sure that you go search and find that event. Hit up Pierre, Topstar Marketing. It's a great event. I was there last year. It's not just for ladies, believe it or not, but there's a guys' table. So you can sit with me and you'll be meeting everybody. I promise you, everybody's going to be there. If there's somebody that you want to meet in the community, they're going to be there. So it's a great networking event. You'll be able to learn. Chef Mary Bass is going to be there doing a cooking demonstration. I'm going to be doing an eating demonstration. And so everybody will understand how hungry I am all the time. But yeah, that's awesome. And then our Talk of Taco Cook-Off is this Saturday, 9 to 3 p.m. Make sure that you attend. It's going to be on the campus of KHEA at Abundant Life. We have, I think we have like 16 teams signed up
That's awesome.
to cook. We're excited. And I think a couple of them have a couple of turn-ins for that as well. And then we have, I think about like 20 other vendors.
Oh, cool.
Then some that are just going to be selling tacos and sampling tacos. And then we have, I think, 6 bounce houses and other games as well. So it's going to be a fun time. It's absolutely free to attend. There are some things that will have cost, but a lot of it's going to be free.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. So come out as well. And hey, thank you guys for hanging out today.
Thank you.
Next year I'll get a chamber taco team together.
Yes, that's what we want. There are some people that are businesses and members of the chamber, so I feel like it's a good representation.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Bye, Facebook. Y'all be blessed.